Hello, happy Sunday. This is Live at 5 with Ruby over here, munching on some hay, and I'm Erin. I am the program director for Ruby's Home for Good. And Live at 5 is a Sunday segment we've been doing just really to share a bit about our mission and the work that Ruby's does, the impact we have, and to answer any questions maybe that you guys have. So it is Super Bowl Sunday, so anyone who is gearing up for the game or have a house full of folks for a party, thanks for popping in to join us. Of course, if you are not able to join us live, we are recording and you can watch this on the replay. And we've actually started posting to our YouTube channel as well. So feel free to pop over there or share that with friends if there's somebody you wanted to share a message with. Hi, Terry. Happy Sunday afternoon. Our internet is finally cooperating today, which we're pretty happy about. So last week I was going to talk a little bit about what we're doing to set up a new facility and to do so in a way that's going to benefit the horses. And since we weren't able to do that call, I thought I would chat about that today. And just as a reminder, if you haven't been with us for a while or are new to our page, Ruby's Home for Good, we've been operating at a private facility for the last few years, and Ruby here has thrived with her stable little herd and the folks that she serves and the care that she gets. But we're really excited because this year we're in a position to expand our impact, and that includes not only the people that we serve, but also our broader community and, importantly, horses in need. So we are preparing for a expansion to a new property that will allow us to adopt 2 new horses and will also help us be more accessible to our general community and be able to expand our offerings to the veterans and the youth that we serve. So that's just a really quick recap about what's going on here at Ruby's. Hey Butchie, good to see you. So again, I'm going to talk about what are we looking at in terms of setting up a property or space for horses that is going to help them be healthy and well. So there's 3 primary things we're going to look at with setting up a property for horses to be healthy. And really simple. It's friends, forage, and freedom. And this goes for horses that are healthy, horses that are struggling, horses that are in recovery, like the horses we're going to get, horses that have been well for some time now. But friends, forage, and freedom are 3 key pieces to healthy horse care and are especially important when you're helping a horse recover from trauma or malnutrition or okay, we're going to try and keep going and see if this is working. I don't know if this is working or not at this point because the internet was popping out. So the first thing we're going to talk about is friends, and horses as social beings are really dependent on having a healthy herd environment. And it's not just that there's one horse or any other animal there, but it's really important that they're in a stable, healthy herd, and that herd allows them to rest, to play, to socialize, and to share resources. So we've been talking about adopting 2 new horses because one horse by themselves wouldn't be okay. And so we're being really intentional about bringing in 2 horses. Anytime you rescue horses, you need to consider a quarantine period. So if these horses come in together, they can quarantine together. That reduces the stress of that transition. So having friends, not only one other buddy, but a dynamic herd is really important. Hi, Missy. Good to see you. So, anytime we look at healthy horse care, we want to make sure they're not living by themselves. They're not isolated from being able to touch or engage with other horses on the same property. And there's a healthy dynamic in the herd. So, especially horses that have had traumatic backgrounds or lack of resources like food or water or good care or shelter, there can be competition for those things initially. So making sure that we set up a space that A, has all of their needs in abundance, and B, has sufficient space to spread them out and to make sure that they don't feel like there's pressure because there's competition for those resources. So having friends, what that does for horses, it helps them regulate their nervous system. As social animals, they rely on those connections to feel safe. And as prey animals and being vulnerable to outside threats, they really rely on a healthy herd in order to be able to lay down to get the appropriate rest they need, and to be able to move freely throughout their space without feeling a constant tension, because there's multiple animals that are able to kind of stay on the lookout or be aware of any threats to them. So Ruby here lives in a herd with 3 other horses, and that's been really important to have not only other horses but a stable herd. So that means there's not constant change coming and going, or horses being restricted from each other, because that really limits their ability to form close bonds. So friends is that first one we were talking about. Forage is going to be the second one, and as you see, Miss Ruby here is tucked into a little pile of hay, and horses are designed to be eating 18, 20, 22 hours a day. They're really meant to constantly be eating small amounts of food. And so making sure, A, that they have access to that food all the time, but B, that that's appropriate food. And so when we talk about appropriate forage for horses, not all forage, which is going to be your grass, your hay, things like that, is created equal. And Ruby in particular is a great example that she actually does not do well on fresh grass, like many horses surprisingly don't do well on that. And she doesn't do well on certain types of hay because her metabolism can't accommodate the high sugar that's in fresh grass or certain hay. So we have to make sure that our horses have access to forage full time, but it's the appropriate forage. And so we do that here by using a track system. So our horses, instead of being out on rich green pasture, they're on a path around the pasture. That's a dirt path, kind of like this sand in the arena here. And they have that appropriate forage, that hay, spaced out along that track. And so that makes sure that, they don't run out. They've always got enough hay there. They can be eating 24 hours a day if they want to. But it's the right kind of forage so that they stay healthy. And for a horse like Ruby, who has this metabolic condition that is really, really common with horses, if she eats a lot of grass, or if she eats the wrong type of hay, like a high sugar hay, she gets inflammation in her hooves. And you'll actually see in the white part of her hooves, you'll see like blood stains, like bruises. And she'll get foot sore, and she'll get abscesses, which are like kind of like pimples or pressure in the hoof, and can turn into infections and things like that. So it's really often kind of assumed that any grass is good grass and a horse should be turned out on grass full time. But horses are actually not designed to eat rich green grass. They're designed to eat more dry brush grass, as well as herbs, berries, things off of trees, that kind of thing. So being really particular about what our horses are eating is going to be really important, especially if you bring in a horse with a compromised immune system who is already going to be extra sensitive. So when we bring in those horses, making sure that we have the right kind of hay. You can test hay to make sure it's correct. You can, with that testing, you can also balance their minerals. And so ensuring that they're getting the things that they need for their bodies to heal and their minds to heal is going to be really important for our horses. And we will be setting up a track in the new property. So we'll be able to manage the grass that is there, and if horses can be on it, great, we'll use it. But if they're sensitive to it, like our Ruby is, we're prepared to accommodate that and make sure that they're getting everything they need. So that's your friends, that's your forage. And the last one is freedom. And freedom is a couple different things. It's freedom to move, and to move, through all the gates and all the different ways that a horse's body is meant to move. And it's also freedom to express themselves. So a common practice with horse keeping is that you might have a horse who spends a lot of time in a stall or a small pen, and they really don't have the ability to move comfortably, certainly don't have the ability to move comfortably at a higher pace than a walk. And so again, that track system really helps us out, because you can take something that's small, like even like a 2-acre pasture. If you put a track around it and you've got different resources in different places, it really encourages them to move. And we'll find here, like our track isn't particularly large, but the horses will get up a good gallop, and they'll run and they'll jump and they'll carry on and get real silly. But we want to make sure that they have the freedom to express themselves in movement. And then also just to show natural behaviors. So being able to engage with each other, so having that healthy herd dynamic, being able to make choices about, do I want to be out eating? Do I want to go get a drink of water? Do I want to be under the shelter to get a break from the weather or the bugs? Really being able to make choices about how they're spending their time is really important for their healthy immune system, healthy mindset, and their overall well-being. So that was kind of, in a nutshell, the 3 F's, which are really commonly known for being vital to healthy horse keeping. So your friends, forage, and freedom. And when we look at setting up a new property, it's really important that we go in with that plan for addressing all of those needs, and being really intentional about when we bring in horses, how we bring in horses, ensuring that nobody's by themselves, ensuring that if the grass isn't okay, we've got a way to keep them off of it, and then just making sure they're set up to utilize their space in a way that makes sense to them and their natural instincts. So I'm really excited. This is a really fun experience to be able to take a property and kind of look at it from the eyes of a horse and consider what is going to facilitate their best interests, what's going to help them feel healthy and well, and really set them up to thrive long term. And horses that, even if they're getting decent care, if they're not getting those innate natural needs met, you're going to struggle with some chronic inflammation, some chronic stress can lead to chronic behaviors. So we really take a preventative look at how do we ensure the horses have what they need, and that's super important for their well-being, but it also will play a factor in how they interact with people. And so it wouldn't be fair to say, hey, we want these horses to help our veterans and our kids learn about wellness when the horses' needs are being compromised. So we really take a strong focus on what do horses need as a species to be well, how do we facilitate that, and then looking at each individual horse and making adaptations. So like our Ruby, who needs adaptations for the grass, or like another horse might need adaptations for a chronic lameness or injury or arthritis. We look at those on an individual basis and adjust for them. So that's what I have for you guys for today. I'm going to keep it short there, because I know folks might have some plans for a game that's about to come on. I hope your team wins, whoever you're rooting for. We might talk a little bit next time about some of the other factors we're looking at. But for now, that's our Live at 5 on Sunday. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.